on sledge again.
And I got that one off you.
Somebody behind them.
No, I'll throw this decoy just in case. Ooh, 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 watch this right here. No. There you go. He's dead.
Nice. What it do? What it do, fam? It's your boy Supreme. Hey, I'm back with another banger build video, man. Look, first and foremost, we got to give all the praise and all the glory to the Most High. Because without the Most High, none of this is possible, man. That's a fact. All right. Now, with that being said, I'm back with some new builds, man. We got the new Incursion that just came out like a week ago, Broken Rain, and it's been fun, man. It's been fun playing some new content, and I know a lot of people are still trying to get the new exotic rifle that's tied to the Incursion. So I figured I would come and drop this build video showcasing the 3 builds that I primarily use in this Incursion. All right. When I don't have anybody on and I want to play, I just match make with randoms. And the setups I've been seeing people come out there with is kind of mind-boggling, man. It's been crazy, bro. You got these crazy ninja bike hybrid setups. You got people running skill builds. Look, man, this video is going to get you right, bro. Like I said, I got 3 builds: a tank build, a DPS build, and a negotiator build for the third boss. All right, let's get into it. This is the DPS build. As y'all can see, it's a PFE setup. We going with the Caduceus. We got the investor mask. You have a lot of crit damage and a lot of survivability with this build, bro. Now, as always, I'm gonna start from the top. I'm gonna break it down like I always do. Y'all just follow me, all right? Now, for the specialization, you got a couple options, okay? The number one option would be the survivalist. I mainly run this one because it gives you the additional 10% protection from elites. That's going to stack on top of the protection from elites we already have on the build. Alright. Now your second option will be the firewall. The firewall gives you the 30% health on kill, you get the best armor kit in the game, and it gives you access to the striker shield. The striker shield is going to give you protection from the shield, and it's going to give you additional damage depending on how many enemies standing in front of that shield, right? So you would trade off the additional 10% protection from elites for a little more damage from the striker shield when you run the firewall. So it's kind of personal preference depending on what you want to do. I just wanted to stack as much PFE as possible on the build, so I opted to go for the survivalist. All right, but it's personal preference, man. You can't go wrong with neither one. All right. Now make sure you got your AR damage turned on, your shotgun damage turned on, and you're pretty much good to go, man. Now for the weapons, we're going with the Caduceus. The new exotic AR we got this season. It's pretty good. I've been having a lot of fun with this gun. It synergizes pretty well with this build, man. Now, the Caduceus has a 650 RPM and a 70 round mag, which is great. We got it up to expertise 30. You definitely want to do that to get the most damage out of it. And we got detox on it as the third attribute, okay? Now what's making the gun so great is the talent, Caduceus. Critical hits repair you and your allies for 3% of the hits dealt damage, okay? So with this gun, you want to have at least 55 to 60% crit chance. 60 is the cap. And then put the rest in the crit damage. You want to have as much crit damage as possible on the build. because the more crit damage you have, the more healing you're going to get back in return. All right. The gun is pretty good, man. It's basically giving us free armor regen on the build. That's essentially what it's doing for you and your team. Now you have options. I also like to go with the bighorn. The bighorn is extremely good. It gives you a lot of extra damage. As y'all can see, the damage is crazy. But with the bighorn, you have to be good at getting headshots, man. The gun is predicated on you getting headshots to get all the additional headshot damage. So if you're not really good at getting headshots, then just stick with the Caduceus, man. But those are the two weapons I like to run. As for the secondary, I just got the stack broker on, and I have back and forth on it. The gun really don't matter. I would just recommend you put back and forth on it just to get the additional rate of fire and the weapon damage. Alright? The pistol really don't matter. You can run whatever you want to run. Now for the gear, we're going with the Investor Exotic Mask. Alright? Now I have it with weapon damage, crit damage, crit chance, and weapon handling. Now what's making this mask so interesting is it's the only exotic that can randomly roll attributes. Alright? Now it took me a few times re-rolling this mask to get it all red, so you might have to spend some exotic components, but it's definitely worth it, man. It's going to synergize perfectly with the Caduceus, since we're stacking as much crit damage as we possibly can on the build. Alright? Now this mask doesn't come with a mod slot, but what it does is it's going to give you a bonus based on your non-core attributes. Now since we have 3 red cores on here, we're going to get 30% crit damage plus the 12 that's already on the mask. So from this one piece of gear, we're getting 42% additional crit damage on the build, bro. Crazy. That's synergizing with the Caduceus because we want as much crit damage as we can get. Alright. As y'all can see, none of my gear is prototype. This is mainly a build I run for the Incursion, so I didn't bother prototyping it because the prototype system doesn't work in the Incursion or the Raid. Alright, so it's really no reason to prototype it unless you wanted to run it outside of the Incursion. Okay, alright, but as is though, we going with one piece Grupo, man. We stacking crit damage, so that's going to give us 13% additional crit damage. We got weapon damage, crit chance, and a PFE mod in here, man. That's the whole theme of the build. You want crit on everything with PFE mods. Okay. Now, as far as the talent, we going with Intimidate. While you have bonus armor, gain 3 stacks each second up to a max of 9. Each stack increases weapon damage by 4% to enemies within 10 meters. So when you stack up this Intimidate, which is not going to take but a second or two, you're going to get 36% additional weapon damage, man. A lot of damage from this Intimidate, man. The only thing with Intimidate is you want to be aggressive with it. You want to get up and close, you got to be within that 10 meters to get the damage to activate. Now for the holster, it's our first piece of improvised gear. Now improvised are extremely important on this build because the improvised pieces, it's not going to give you a brand set bonus, but it's going to give you an additional mod slot, and that's going to give us another way to add more protection from elites on the build. Now I know next season we're getting a lot of changes to the brand sets, and we're going to have more ways to stack PFEs on the builds, but as of right now, the improvised pieces is your best bet, man. That's your go-to if you want to get the most protection from elites on the build. As y'all can see, we went with armor on this piece, crit chance, crit damage with the PFE mod. Okay, now like all of my builds, you can tailor them to your play style. I chose to go with 2 blues. That felt the most comfortable for me. The survivability is there, the damage is there, and everything is kind of well rounded. But I think 2 blues and 4 reds is a pretty good sweet spot, man. Alright. Now with these improvised pieces, the only way you can get these is you have to go to the crafting bench and you just craft them, man. You just craft them till you get the rolls on them you want, and you just optimize them and you're good to go. Okay. Same with the knee pads. We got the improvised knee pads. We got the armor core on it, crit chance, crit damage with the PFE mod. And on the gloves, we got the improvised with the weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage with the PFE mod. Okay. Now for the backpack, we're going with the Matador. It's the named version of the Walker-in Harris. Alright. It gives you 5% weapon damage. We got weapon damage on it, crit chance, crit damage with a PFE mod in it. Alright. Now it comes with the talent, Perfect Adrenaline Rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, you're going to gain 23% bonus armor. For 5 seconds, that's going to stack up to 3 times. The cooldown is 5 seconds. So the Adrenaline Rush is going to activate the Intimidate. As y'all can see, we got 60% crit chance. That's very important running with the Caduceus. You want as much crit chance as possible. I would say no less than 55. We got 60, which is perfect. That's the cap. And we have 165% crit damage. Now, if we look at the PFEs, we have 75% protection from elites. If you look at the breakdown, it reduces the damage taken from elite and named enemies. Alright, so it's going to mitigate that damage you take from all the gold enemies and all the bosses. So you have a lot of survivability with all this protection from elite on the build, bro. As far as the skills, you absolutely want to go with a shield. And we got the Reviver Hive. Alright, those are going to be your 2 primary skills. You maybe can swap out the shield for a decoy if you want it, but I would just recommend going with the shield since you're going to be playing up and close from the Intimidate, and the shield is going to give you an added layer of protection and take your survivability through the roof. Because with the protection from elite mods, not only does the protection from elites mitigate the damage from elite enemies toward your agent, it also is going to mitigate damage from the elite enemies on your shield as well. But this is the PFE DPS version I like to run. It works extremely well in this incursion, man. Okay. Now for the second build I'm showcasing, it's the Negotiator build for the 3rd boss. Alright. Now for the specialization, you just want to have on a gunner. That's going to give you the armor on kill back and the additional rate of fire after the kill. Alright. As far as the weapons, I'm going with the Bullet King, man. Now y'all know the Bullet King come with the talent Bullet Hell, and the whole gimmick with it is you never have to reload it. So that's what's making it so great, because you can constantly be doing damage to the boss when she comes out. I also like to use the blue screen. The blue screen has amazing synergy with the Negotiator, man. Not only are you going to be marking the enemies from the Negotiator, you're also going to be marking them from the blue screen. Now once you fully stack up the blue screen and one of those marked enemy dies, it's going to automatically post, disrupt, and disorient all other marked enemies in the room. So this gun is great for crowd control in that room. It works perfectly with the Negotiator. So I play around between the 2 guns, man. I like to use this blue screen and the Bullet King for this build. Now for the gear, we're going with the Negotiator set, man. I rarely use this set, but it just works so well against that 3rd boss, where you can just bypass all the mechanics and damage her directly. Okay. Now with the Negotiator, how it works is every time you crit on an enemy, it's going to apply a mark. You can apply up to 3 marks, and when you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. Whenever a marked enemy dies, you gain 2% crit damage, stacking up to 20 times, or until combat ends. Okay. Now we have weapon damage on it and crit damage. That's the whole theme. Weapon damage and crit damage on everything. Okay. Same with the chest piece. You got crit damage, weapon damage. It's giving us the talent target rich environment, and it's going to increase the amount of marks we can apply from 3 to 5. So that's great, because as y'all know, in that third boss, it's a lot of ads that's constantly spawning on both sides of the room. So now you can apply up to 5 marks and kill multiple enemies at once. Okay. Holster, we got weapon damage, crit damage, and we have the backpack. That's giving us the talent critical measures. It's going to increase the damage the marked enemies take from 60 to 112%. All right. Now for the exotic, we going with the overdogs. You're going to be fighting 95% elite enemies in that room. Every once in the blue, you might get a purple sniper, but you're going to be having that 30% amplified damage majority of the time. So I would recommend running these overdogs for more damage output. Now for the knee pads, we're going with the name Seska knee pads, the Turmoil. We had weapon damage on it, weapon handling, and crit damage. I chose to go with weapon handling on this piece because we are already at the crit cap. We got 60% crit chance on the build, 170% crit damage, which is going to go up even higher once we start applying the marks and killing those marked enemies with the Negotiator. With the Turmoil knee pads, they synergize with the Negotiator because they kind of work the same way. When you deal weapon damage to an enemy, 50% of that damage will be transferred to another enemy within 30 meters. All right, so you're just spreading the damage around, killing multiple enemies at once with this build. And like I said, all you want to do is when the boss comes out, you want to mark her and just kill the rest of the ass in the room. Just mark other enemies, shoot the other enemies, and she's going to be taking direct damage from the Negotiator and the Turmoils. It works extremely well on that third boss, man. It's going to make that room a lot easier for a lot of y'all, man. Okay. Now, as far as the skills, you want to go with a decoy and a reviver hive. That's all you really need, and you're pretty much good to go, bro. Now, for the third build I'm about to showcase, this is the tank build. All right. For the specialization, we're going with this crossbow specialization. That's going to give us that additional 10% protection from elites, and we get access to the fire grenade. All right. Now for the weapons, we're going with the lefty. Okay. I like running the lefty because it's going to give us the sledgehammer talent, and once you hit an enemy with a grenade, they're going to take 20% more damage to armor and a negative 30% movement speed. All right. That's synergizing with our primary weapon, which will primarily be the Mosquito. Now the Mosquito is an exotic pistol we got a while back, and it's really no reason to run this pistol other than running it with a tank build. But it's really no reason to run a tank build until now. So it just synergizes so well with the build, man. The Mosquito has the talent called Mosquito Song. Hitting an enemy applies a stack shared between players. At 5 stacks, the enemy will forcefully target the last player who applied the stack for 5 seconds and take 25% more damage to armor. All right. So if you pair the Mosquito up with the sledgehammer, you can hit a boss with a grenade, swap back to the Mosquito, and he's going to be taking 45% damage to armor, man. That's why I like running this pistol. It also is going to forcefully make the boss target you, so you're going to be drawing all the aggro, which that's really what you want when you're running a tank. You want to be drawing all the aggro, allowing the DPS to just shoot him in the back. So this pistol is basically best in slot with this tank build, in my opinion. It's giving you the aggro and the additional damage to armor. Now for the gear, once again, we're going with the Investor, man. The Investor is really good in this incursion. We got the all red on the DPS version, and here with the tank version, we have the all blue. Okay. Now I got it with armor, explosive resistance, armor regen, and hazard protection. You want to get it with 3 blue non-core attributes so you can get those blue bonuses. It's going to give you 1% armor regen for every blue attribute you have. So for this one piece, we're getting 3% armor regen on the build, bro. Crazy. Crazy survivability, man. And really the only 2 attributes you want on the build is armor regen and hazard protection. That's what we're stacking across the whole build. Okay? For the chest piece, we're going with the named Gilligard chest piece, the Point Man. It comes with 5% total armor, 60% health, and 2% armor regen. On this chest piece, we have armor regen, hazard protection, and protection from elites. That's the whole theme of the build. Now with Vanguard, every time you pop the shield, it's going to make it invulnerable for 5 seconds, and it's going to grant 50% of your armor as bonus armor for your teammates for 20 seconds. Alright, then it has a 25-second cooldown. So every 25 seconds, you want to be popping your shield if you don't have it out to apply the bonus armor for your teammates. This is going to take everybody's survivability through the roof, man. The Vanguard is essential. I think in any tank build, you really don't have a lot of cases to run a tank build in this game, but for this incursion, a good tank build can make this incursion a lot easier, bro. And this tank build right here, as y'all seen in the clips, is really good, man. It's really good, bro. So we got 2 improvised pieces on the build, one being the holster. We got armor on it, hazard protection, armor regen, and protection from elites. You only have 2 improvised pieces, that being the holster and the knee pads, and they both have the hazard protection and armor regen with the PFE mod in it. Okay, for the gloves, second piece of Gilligard, we got armor, hazard protection, armor regen. That's the whole theme. Now for the backpack, it's our 3rd piece of the Gilligard set. We got armor, hazard protection, armor regen, and a PFE mod in there. For the talent, I'm going with Adrenaline Rush. I just chose to go with Adrenaline Rush for a little bit more survivability for myself when you're kiting the boss around, or if you're doing the controls in the 3rd or the 4th boss. It just gives you another added layer of protection. Okay, but you got options though. You can also go with Protector. When the shield takes damage, it's going to give you and your teammates bonus armor. So that's going to give the team more survivability. But either or, I would recommend going with. Those 2 are pretty good and synergize pretty well with the build. Now as far as the skills, I'm going with a Reviver Hive. I never go down with this build. The Hive is for when somebody else goes down. I can just run and drop a Hive on them, get them up real quick. And you absolutely want to use the Bulwark Shield. Use the Bulwark Shield. It has 13 million health on it. You got a lot of PFE on the build, so it's going to be taking minimal damage. The only time the shield really takes a lot of damage is at that 2nd boss in that parking lot where they have those turrets shooting those rockets. Sometimes you can take some damage on the shield from those, but other than that, as y'all seen in the clips, the bosses is a joke with this with this build, bro. The shield is going to be up 100% of the time. And when you pop Vanguard, it's going to make it invulnerable for 5 seconds anyway. If we look at the stats, let's go to the defensive stats. We got 2 million armor, 131k armor regen, bro. The regen is crazy. Along with 62% protection from elites, 70% hazard protection. You got 18% explosive resistance. Okay, so the build is really a tank. You're going to be drawing the aggro from the bosses, and you're never going to die with this build, bro. It's extremely hard to die with this build. As y'all can see, the armor coming back super fast. Super fast. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's pretty good. As y'all seen in the clips, it's pretty good for kiting the bosses and doing any other dirty work you got to do for the team, man. All right. But these are the 3 builds I like to run, man. All 3 of them work extremely well in this incursion, and I think y'all will have a more easier time getting through the incursion, man. Hopefully y'all can get the gun and have fun, bro. That's the whole point, man. But like always, man, I gave y'all the blueprint. Y'all go out there and build it, have some fun with it, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, man.